Guys, I don't know how many women that I have met personally, that I've spoken to, that out of the blue have confessed to being raped. Hello. Welcome, guys, to the broadcast. For those of you who are coming through for the first time, you are more than welcome. For those of you who keep coming, keep doing what you're doing, I love it. Guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe to this content. You can put on your notification bell so that you're notified each time we post a new video. So guys, I've got a single that is out. It's called Hold You by Vusi. You can check it out on all digital stores. You can also follow me on Instagram at Vusi_live. So guys, there's a couple of things that I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about Sizwe Dlomo and Vusi Thembekwayo. Great businessmen, great leaders, but there seems to be tension between the two of them. I want to talk about the whole story about Lerato Moloi and Smoke. And lastly, I want to talk about IFani and AKA. You may ask why these three topics. It's something that I've been thinking about that does bother me somehow. I'm not sure how I'm going to coin it, but I'll do my best. Let's start with Vusi Thembekwayo. You know, guys, I've known Vusi Thembekwayo for the longest time, you know. I'm that generation. And I followed that guy, man. The guy from a very young age, he was doing great things. He was on TV. Long before, Twitter and all the social media platforms were as big, as influential. So I've seen this guy come up, and I've seen doing great things, and at that time he was really, he seemed untouchable, like one unique individual where nobody really competed with him in terms of the achievements and the business accolades and just the status. And then fast forward later, there's a lot of people doing similar things. There's a lot of people who are successful. Could he have played a role in inspiring some of them? Probably yes, you know, but he was carving a whole new different path that black people were not carving, because what's unique about his story is that his platforms were not like your Bonangs and everybody else that was doing it through media. Yes, he was interviewed via television, which are all media platforms, but he was a proper entrepreneur, you know, and that was refreshing at the time. There's since been quite a number of them that have come up since then, the likes of Sizwe Dlomo. But Sizwe Dlomo also just went through media. He was a MTV presenter, and that platform propelled his career as an entrepreneur. And I think, you know, these are great two figures, great big leaders in the industry, but there's something that seems to be a question for me, like, why are these two great people having like a feud, you know? If you don't know about their feud, many years back, I don't know how many years back, but it was a time where Anele Mdoda used to host a TV show, Anele on 3 or something like that. Something, you know, broke through the internet where Vusi Thembekwayo made a video, a very angry video confronting Sizwe Dlomo. In this video, he's addressing an issue of what Sizwe Dlomo had said. You know, he went on social media platforms and said that Vusi Thembekwayo is stealing his ideas, you know. Apparently Vusi Thembekwayo was addressing the issue of the taxi industry, that the taxi industry people are sitting on opportunities, you know. They are a big industry. Imagine if they were to manufacture their own cars, and that would be another stream of income if they were to just collaborate and manufacture their own cars, their mini buses, whatever you call it, and if they were to come up with auto space shops and their own places to maintain. So basically, in layman's terms, if they were to start producing their own taxis, which are minibuses, if they were to start making the parts, selling the parts, because these cars need maintenance, if they were to also like have their own mechanics and things like that, so that would just quadruple the money they're already making, because they're making a lot of money in that industry. So he sort of spoke about this. Probably he didn't know that Sizwe Dlomo had already spoken about it. So when Sizwe Dlomo heard this, he went and said, this guy is stealing his ideas. That really pissed Vusi Thembekwayo off, and he confronted him on social media, and there was issues, I think his family issues with his wife. At the time he had to be in hospital, but he was angry, he wanted addresses, but he's sitting driving in his car and he's coming for this guy, and he said things like, man, I'm mfana womzulu, and that sort of talk that, I in my own terms, like, I'm not afraid of confrontation. If you want to do this, let's do it, we can do it however you want. Even, I think he was implying even physically, so that was the last we heard of it. And he later went on to Anele, and Anele obviously addressed this, they spoke about it, and he did say, he could have handled it better, and at that time he was overwhelmed by anger, and he was mentioning why did Sizwe Dlomo come after him, like that, because now he has his words, he has two adults, probably role models, that are going at it on social media platforms. It's not a pretty sight, it's not a good example. So he did show regret, but he was still saying that he feels that Sizwe Dlomo could have handled it better. If he had issues with him, he's a man of means, he could have called him and said, listen, I've got issues with A, B, C, and D. Why did he choose to go on Twitter? So that's how their feud started. And many years later, we even forgot about that. Sizwe Dlomo is being interviewed on Podcast and Chill with Mac G. And Saul asks about what happened between Sizwe Dlomo, and he's asking Sizwe Dlomo on Podcast and Chill that what happened between you and Vusi Thembekwayo. And I think the word Sizwe Dlomo used was, well, I don't know, because Saul was saying that because you guys were promising to put hands on each other or something crazy like that, and then Sizwe Dlomo's response is like, I don't know, but I think he's putting hands on his wife, which was really, in my opinion, like below the belt, because there's just been a story on social media and on tabloids that there is an issue between Vusi Thembekwayo and the wife. I'm not sure exactly, but allegedly she's opened a case against him for domestic violence. And Vusi Thembekwayo obviously is denying that. And this is the issue, guys, because every time we deal with powerful and influential people with money, we never know what is true. And this is the link between the stories that I want to share today, between the connection between the stories that I want to talk about, Tolesmo and Lerato Moloi, and even Casper, aka with IFani. My issue with this whole thing is that when these things come up, when it's the rich people, you will never know. It puts a bad spot on the person that is being charged, and we never know whether they go to court, whether they're proven guilty or innocent. We never know what really happened. We never really know what the true story is, and that is always the issue. And this is the issue with the story of Vusi Thembekwayo. Vusi Thembekwayo is somebody everybody respected. There was no scandals with this guy up until this came, right? And now this is put a dent on his image. And for Sizwe Dlomo to raise this. I think it was a little bit below the belt. It was really fighting dirty because he didn't have to go there. And he's still perpetuating the same thing that Vusi Thembekwayo was saying. No, it's not good for two men who are role models to go at it like that. Because remember, Sizwe Dlomo, everybody respects him. Everybody speaks highly of this guy, man. I mean, you heard MacG was speaking highly. You hear MT saying that I want anybody managing me, and that is an issue, guys. When it's people below you, because right, everybody knows that Sizwe Dlomo is making a lot of money, and he's above the industry guys. You know, most of these guys that are celebrities, he's making way more money than them because I mean, the guy has got so many businesses, and he's so successful. So nobody is a threat to him. But when it comes to people at his level, he's not. He doesn't seem as, you know, good. He's like a good Samaritan to everybody else, but why is he not a good Samaritan to Vusi Thembekwayo? Right? Because I think there is his competition. And whatever tension is between the two of them, it doesn't have to be addressed in public like that, because these are two black men doing great things. Why should every time that two successful black people must go at it? Is it something that happens only with black people? No, even white people go at it. But that's the thing. Is it, what is it? Is it ego? Is it competition? Why does it have to be dirty? Because now when you're saying things like that, Vusi Thembekwayo has not been proven guilty, and you don't know if he's guilty or not, but you want to use that against him because you can. And he's smart about it. He says, you heard what the tabloid said, because he knows that he can get sued by Vusi if he doesn't back it up and saying, no, I didn't say it, the tabloid said it, you know. And let's move forward to Lerato Moloi and Mo. A lot has been said about this. I don't want to dwell too much on it, but the point that I want to make is that even this has caused the split. You're right. This is a great person that has been accused of this thing. He's come out to MacG and he's said his side of the story. And people are still, I mean, on Twitter you can go now, there's still people who are saying, I believe Lerato Moloi. I mean, the way Mo said it, it's so hard not to believe him. But you know what, I'll be honest, guys, you know, when these things are said, even I as a male, I'm like, you start wondering, could it be true, you know? And that never really leaves you, you know? What if there's something that people are missing, you know? So it's bad, man, you know, when these things happen like that in public. And why do these things always happen, you know, when people are on the rise and people are successful? There's two things. You either get too arrogant, you think you're above the law, you start abusing people because you're so used to praises, and you sort of feel like you're above everybody else, that you start pushing people, you know, however you want. So that's one of the side of the story, where these people become arrogant, they just take, you know. Guys, I don't know how many women that I have met personally, that I've spoken to, that out of the blue have confessed to being raped by celebrities, some of them. I mean, there was one woman, we were chilling there, friends of mine were drinking wine, and then she started crying, you know. And I was getting upset because I'm like, why is this girl like, can't handle her alcohol, what's up, you know? And she goes to the bathroom, and it's two girls, and I was just one guy. She starts crying, and I'm getting annoyed, like, why, man? Like, you know those people who can't handle their alcohol, like, what the heck? And she goes to the bathroom, she's crying, we don't know what she's crying, so I'm left with a friend, we don't know what she's crying. And then her friend goes to the bathroom to check on her. I'm like, please go check on her. She comes back to me, and this girl is done crying now, she wants to come back, and she says she wants to confess something. I don't know why it hit her. Then she starts telling us that, you know, she was raped by a celebrity from a very famous, let me not say what, but it's a public figure that is in the hip-hop industry. You know, there's two stories in particular. The other one, it's a lady I dated at the time, and she was also at some point confessing that she was raped by somebody who was very powerful in one of the radio stations, the big radio stations in Joburg. So there are many stories, guys. So like, rape is a pandemic. It's not something to be taken for granted. It's not something to be used because you're mad at your boyfriend, whatever. So that happens too, you know, when women are mad at their boyfriends, they want to spite them and they want to accuse them of certain things. And lastly, IFani and AKA and IFani's there's been a long history of feud between the two of them. But recently on Gulagan Culture, IFani is doing a comeback. He's going to release his third album. He had to pause his career because of differences that he had with AKA. I didn't know how deep this goes because I did see it on social medias where IFani is talking about whatever issues that they have with AKA, and AKA talking about IFani and whatever issues. And one of them is that IFani had a marketing strategy to release, that's how he summarized it, to release an album that was supposed to go gold on the first day of its release, right? And when he did this and seemingly he was achieving it, he had achieved it, AKA was on his case saying that that can't be, there is no ways, because AKA obviously felt like he's bigger than him, he's better than him, and how could he achieve that? And they're both people from the same label, and this is the thing, it's competition, people from the same label, and AKA is confronting this thing and he's saying like, there is no ways that this guy can achieve this. And I did not realize there was a reason IFani stopped singing. He left the music industry because he felt so defeated after that, because he had this big plan with big corporates, and all of a sudden they were pulling because of the statement that was made by AKA. And my question, why is that when people are on their rise and they're doing well, there's somebody opposing them? And also, do these people that are in the public eye realize the power and influence they have on people? So the power is meant to be used, to build, to rebuild lives, to change lives, right? But a lot of us, we use it selfishly. It happens in our homes, when people are feeling powerful, whatever it is, they start abusing that power. It happens in the workspace. It happens in offices. When people are given managerial positions, they start abusing that power. It happens with celebrities. They want to use their fans, they want to use Twitter to come after people. But the consequences of that are dire, because what you're doing when you're attacking that person is representing a lot of people. He's representing families. He's representing his mom. He's representing his children. He's representing his wife. He's representing his community. So when you come after a powerful or influential person or an up-and-coming person because of jealousy, think for a second about what you're doing. You're destroying that person's plans, that person's future. You are being a stumbling block to their progress. And think about that for a second, and let's not think selfishly. Anyways, guys, please don't forget to like. You can tell me your thoughts. And yeah, do check out my single. Thank you for watching.